This video is meant to update clients, partners, potential partners, and unit holders about the most recent business operations at CN Rail, one of the top holdings in our contracted portfolios. Hi, I'm Gordon Weeb, and I'm licensed as an underwriter in the provinces of BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. My practice focuses on helping clients meet their financial goals and objectives, typically through the use of annuities and custom contracted portfolios. This presentation represents due diligence on one of the underlying assets in the recommended portfolios, and just before we begin, regulations require the following disclosure. This presentation is published on or about September 14, 2020, and it is meant for information purposes only. This is not an offer to purchase securities or products. No representation is made. Items presented here may not be suitable for everyone. Rates change, values fluctuate. Please consult an experienced, qualified, licensed professional prior to investing to ensure that your investments are a part of a comprehensive plan designed to help you and your family meet your long-term financial goals and objectives. When recommending products and planning strategies, broad tax and legal issues may be discussed. Nothing should be construed as tax or legal advice. Okay, now that the cheese is between those crackers, let's move on. Here's our agenda. I'll provide some background on CN Rail's business operations. Number 2, we'll look at the officers leading the charge. Number 3, we'll review the latest quarterly operating results. And number 4, we'll look at the outlook for CN Rail's business. CN Rail is the backbone of the economy in Canada and parts of North America. They move, ship, or otherwise transport $250 billion worth of resources, manufactured goods, and consumer goods every year. Their rail network extends coast to coast, east to west, and north to south. It includes 3 coasts in North America, 7 seaports, and 23 major inland shipping terminals. The business is led by these 2 individuals, Jean-Jacques Rouet and Robert Pace. Mr. Pace serves as an independent chairman of the board of the company, a position he's held since 2014. Mr. Rouet was appointed President and Chief Executive Officer in July 2018. He joined CN in 1996, just as the corporation was being privatized. He previously served as Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer with the responsibility for providing the strategic direction and leadership for the corporation. During the second quarter of 2020, revenues at CN Rail were $3.2 billion, down 19% from a year ago. Operating income was $545 million, down 53% from a year ago. Adjusted earnings per share were $1.28 per share versus $1.73 per share from the same quarter in 2019, down 27%. This slide shows how different businesses and industries were affected as the pandemic took hold in the second quarter. Petroleum and raw materials were down significantly. Auto shipments were hit especially hard. However, grain and fertilizer shipping was fairly flat. And this chart shows how much each business unit contributed to the overall revenue stream during the second quarter. This table compares financial results over the past 5 quarters. Revenues ranged between $3 to $4 billion. Net income had declined somewhat, with margins ranging between 17% during the latest quarter and 34.4% during the same quarter a year ago. Earnings per share hovered between $1.22 per share during the fourth quarter of 2019 and $1.89 per share during the second quarter in 2019. However, CN Rail remains a company with some obvious long-term competitive advantages, and the corporation is able to produce lots of free cash flow to help weather challenging conditions created by the pandemic. Over the long term, CN Rail has consistently rewarded shareholders by repurchasing and retiring shares. They've also been able to increase their dividends annually by just under 13.5% per year. Now, there are a number of projects and initiatives underway that should continue to grow CN's business for years to come. Many of them are listed here. I'll highlight the ones around Prince Rupert. CN has a monopoly on rail transport to North America's most northern Pacific seaport. It can reduce shipping times by 2 to 3 days, and it's why companies like AltaGas and Pembina Pipeline have set up terminals for shipping propane and natural gas to Asian markets. CN Rail is also expanding its intermodal reach across the continent. As the North American population and economy grows, CN's rail business will continue to grow along with it. In spite of challenging economic conditions during the second quarter, CN management was able to adapt to changing circumstances and still generate over $1 billion of free cash flow to the company and to long-term shareholders. It's why CN Rail remains a top long-term holding in our custom contracted portfolios. And as a means of offering further protections to our partners, when held under a contract, our unit holders benefit from A, capital guarantees, B, the right to transfer ownership without triggering a tax event, C, the right to name beneficiaries and bypass the probate process, and D, a degree of creditor protection not available with other investments or other asset classes. And just before I wrap up this presentation, I would be remiss if I didn't say something about Hunter Harrison and his legacy at CN Rail. Mr. Harrison was president and CEO of CN Rail from 2003 to 2009. He was known for his ability to introduce logistics and new technologies to the industry, drive efficiencies, deliver on promises, prioritize safety methods, and create shareholder value in the process. If you're looking for a good book to read, I'd highly recommend Howard Green's book, Railroader, The Unfiltered Genius and Controversy of Four-Time CEO Hunter Harrison. It's a study in how a visionary and innovator wins over stodgy, monolithic, bureaucratic thinking, as much as it is a book about railroads. Further information on the book and reviews can be found in the links down below this video. Here's our summary. CN Rail plays a prominent role in transporting goods across North America. Their vast rail network is uniquely suited to serving diverse businesses and industries across the continent. With an eye to maintaining operating efficiencies, they should be able to continue providing unit holders and shareholders with continued growth prospects for years to come. And that's it. If you have questions or would like more information about this presentation, please contact me by email at gord@think-income.com or visit my website at www.think-income.com. And if you enjoyed this presentation and found it informative, please give it a thumbs up just below the screen and consider viewing other presentations on the Think-Income YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and please remember, stay safe, stay sage, and stay well.